Thomas, it's up for grabs now.
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira.
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it.
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Champions.
Good evening, peeps, and I'm still working on my intro. I haven't got one like Turkish, and all that. So I'm still working on a catchphrase. So if anyone in the comments wants to give me a new catchphrase for my intros, let me know. But welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. I'm Lavanja. We're one short today. Shaheen's a little bit under the weather, with all this stuff going around at the moment. So it's just us three. I hope that's good enough for you guys. And welcome to our regular guests, the real talkers themselves. Mr. Judges, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Is that right? Shanine's gone to the hairdressers. That's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true,
But do you know what, guys? I was so looking forward to it. We were talking about it off camera, but we were saying last week he's got a mic, and then he was wearing the cap trying to look like me and Lee. We were saying all that, and he's gone and shaved his head. But that's another subject entirely. But he is genuinely unwell. It's not going to grow back by next week. So Escobar will be back next week. So hopefully you're well. And nice to see you, Lee. We'll be talking about a lot of stuff with regards to your watch along later on. And Turkish, how you doing, bro? New cap, foreign currency.
Something like that. Something like that.
It's a new sponsor, yeah?
No, not even. Yeah, people send me hats because I'm a hat guy. So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, there's a nice little hat there.
Do you know what? I was always a hat guy, but Lee's inspired me to just go with it, man. Just go with it, mate. Just go with it. You know what I mean?
You must have a little sponsor with the old hats now, surely, Turkish. You've got to,
people send me hats, Lee. That's what it is. Yeah. People send me hats. But
do they really? Do they really?
Yeah, I get a lot of offers, but I have to like it to wear it. I'm not someone that's just going to wear it because it's free. If I like it, then I'm going to be. I've told a lot of people that I don't. I won't wear that, so you might as well just keep it because
so precious. Look at him, mate. Me and Lee have been offered sponsorship by Kroenke and these wigs, but we've turned it down because we want to go. We're going natural, mate. We're going natural. But big up to everyone in the chat so far. Let's sort of crack on with this. So more positivity, lads, thus far. Shaheen's in the chat. Lev, you did me dirty on this. Look forward to this, guys. Shaheen Sham, he's in the house. So if you guys want to chat to him in there, say hello to him. So look, guys, more positivity. We are still on that run. We are now 6 games unbeaten, 5 wins and a draw. Looking aside to that Palace game. So very quickly, we'll sort of skim over the game because I'm sure by the time it gets to us, usually everyone's spoken about it. But performance-wise, similar sort of lineup. Big surprise was Cedric. No one expected that. I didn't expect it. Anyone who says that we expected him to play is a liar. And then we wanted Partey in that middle with Xhaka. We got him. The usual backline, so I won't go through all of that. We had Emil Smith-Rowe in that number 10 pocket, the cam roll. And then we had Saka, Laka and Aubameyang. Now, the guru himself, Mr. Judges, was suggesting, and I thought about it as well. We were thinking a run of games, he's had some poor form. Maybe we should drop Aubameyang and bring in someone like Martinelli. We're all thinking it, and if we're not saying that, then we're probably lying. But we'll go into what happened. What do you think of the game, guys? I mean, 3-0. Wasn't expecting that. It was a hard first half. It was a bit tough, but second half we came alive. What was your thoughts on the game, starting with Lee?
Well, to be honest, I'm going to say this now. Did anybody say at half time, someone would come and sat here and said, we're going to win 3-0? Would have anybody have believed that? I don't think so. What I see in that first half was tough. It was a tough watch, just like it's been most home games. Yeah. But a goal changed it. And the confidence of the team, players wanting the ball. The game then opened up a little bit, and then I thought Smith-Rowe become fantastic when he was given a little bit of space to run into and do those sort of things. Before that, he was finding it tough. But, I do think that he was brilliant in the second half. I love the kid, I've got to say that. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest. When I see that Martinelli was fit, it was more about not Aubameyang being dropped. It was more about I wanted to see Martinelli playing. I felt, that was what I wanted to see. And what I actually said, and if that means Aubameyang's got to be dropped, then so be it. But as I said, and I'll say it again now, it's nothing better than when a player makes you eat your own words. You know what I mean? And I'm delighted that he did because I thought he was fantastic in the second half. Magnificent finish for the first goal. And I thought that you know, he played really, really well in the first half. I will say this though, guys, this first half, he was awful. You know what I mean? He kicking the ball, like, you know what I mean? It was going. He fell over, and I, you know, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong, but because I love him, don't mean to say that when he ain't playing well, I ain't going to say so. He's lost his form. Lost his form, lost his balance, lost everything like that. I mean,
lost his mojo. He's just
lost his mojo, but he's got it back. He's got it back, hopefully. But I will say the one thing that it's unbelievable. I don't know how you guys feel about this. That a professional footballer banging in goals and to get to where he is, he's got to have confidence and a little bit about him and everything. But it looked like he's lost his confidence, and that's unbelievable. Like that someone as good as him could go through a little confidence crisis, if you want to say. But hopefully those couple of goals will get it back. And, you know, and this is the good thing now. If Aubameyang can find that little bit of form, which he did last season, we will get better because, you know, he gets those chances. And I know that he missed that one in the first half, a little bit unlucky and all that. But when he gets that one, which was, by the way, a fantastic ball from Partey, if he doesn't do that, Partey, he doesn't get that chance.
It was also the way he turned and found space when he first received the ball. I think no one really mentioned that with Partey.
Right on the edge of the box, on the edge of the box. No other midfield player has been able to do that. That meant we could release Aubameyang early, and there ain't no one else that would have finished that like him. You know, maybe Martinelli, but like when he was running through, I actually even said on the stream, he's going to score this. You know, so I'm glad he's done the business. I honestly think, though, guys, if he hadn't, I don't see that would have been his last game for a little while. But you know, good players come good in the end, don't they? And let's hope this is a chance for him now to get on a big run.
Yeah, I mean, some people were saying he was a bit lucky with a finish and whatever, and obviously the one thing I will say about Aubameyang, in my opinion, is when he's not in a good run of form, sometimes his overall contribution to the game when he's not scoring is probably not the best. He is an out-and-out goal scorer, that is what it is. But you know, you're right, it's good that he's got off the mark. Now, Turkish, you watched the game, I'm sure. What was the standout points for you? I mean, Cedric, for me, surely Bellerin's got to be looking behind him now and thinking to himself, hold on a minute, because for me, Cedric was head and shoulders going forwards, attacking, driving. I mean, who's a standout player for you? And, you know, what did you think of the overall performance?
I said that as well, but look, it's only Newcastle, but in my opinion, that's one of the best right-back performances I've seen in a couple of years. And I know it's only Newcastle, but we've played a lot of Newcastles in the last 2 years, and we haven't seen that from a right-back, both Bellerin and Maitland-Niles. So very impressive from Cedric. Still, I expect to see more consistency, but when we signed Cedric, I wasn't completely against it. I remember liking him for a couple of years at Southampton. I remember looking at him in Portugal, you know, they won the Euros with him, and I thought, you know, that's a decent right-back. You know, he's got a good delivery, he's both-footed, and he's efficient. Obviously, we got him on the back end of 2 years where it didn't really go well for him. He didn't kick on from then. So it was a bit of a, do we need him? But I think the game against Newcastle showed what he can bring if given a chance. You know, I think we've seen enough from Bellerin to know it's not going to work out. We've seen enough from Maitland-Niles, in my opinion, to know it's not going to work out. We haven't seen enough from Cedric. It's all opinions with Cedric. Yeah. So I think the best thing to do is to see if he will work out. I think this season, that's the best thing to do with all players. See who can work out and who will not work out. Because credit to them, they got 3 players out the door in January so far. I still expect a couple more. But, you know, if there's a few that manage to, you know, peak their heads above the water a bit in terms of Cedric in the right-back position, it makes life a bit easier for us in terms of the overhaul. So I was impressed with Cedric, both defensively and offensively. He seemed very rapid. And for our oldest right back, it's a bit weird saying that because you wouldn't expect him to be the most rapid out of the 3. He seemed like he would get into the positions quickly, efficiently. He'd overlap if need be, come inside if need be. He's quite smart. And because he's both-footed, he doesn't look funny cutting in. Whereas sometimes Bellerin cutting in, he looks a bit awkward. It has worked well for him this season at times, but it looks awkward when they cut in Maitland-Niles and Bellerin. So Cedric has that in his favour, and he's definitely a plus point. But who knows what will happen in the next couple of weeks. After that performance, I expect him to start the next game, if I'm honest. But at the same time, do I think Arteta will start him? No. But
do you think Arteta's going to drop him next game and bring Bellerin back in?
Well, like I think you or Lee said it would be lying if we said that we expected Cedric to start. So what exactly? I'm not sure what prompted that. I'm going to assume that it's a Bellerin niggle, and I'm going to say that he's going to come back in next game because that's the only one that makes sense to me. I look at the game before and I look at Bellerin's performance and I say, well, it wasn't that different to performances before from him. So why did he get dropped this time? So I'm going to give this game and see maybe he's going to come back in.
I hope not, because I'm hoping he's looked at Cedric in training. Now, he was injured when we first got him, so maybe it's taken him a little bit of time to get back to his peak, because he was far quicker than I expected him to be in that game, and far more incisive, and the drive and it was so nice to have two fullbacks for once going either side, which makes it difficult for the defense because they don't know, which way it's coming from. You can switch it either side. It gives you far more options in midfield. It gives you your wingers, your wide guys options as well. You've got overlaps and all of that. And I hope he sticks with it, because for me, it then gives that message to the rest of the team. You come in, you do a great job, you keep your place. So I'm hoping that's the thing. Very quickly, we'll touch on this super chat from Marco. Thank you, £2 from Marco. Mustafi needs to go. You didn't need to spend £2 to tell us that, but thank you anyway. But look, we'll touch on the transfer side later on, Marco, and you guys in the chat, Brandon. I think you've got a few True Gunner, James Haddon, Martinelli, AFC1, a few of you in here. We'll touch on the transfers in a bit. So hold fire with those questions. I don't know why someone's saying Crystal Maze in there. And
it's out of order, isn't it?
Maybe it's just watching it. No, Lee, I think they're just watching it, mate, at the same time. That's all it is. It's nothing to do with us, mate. Nothing to do with us. No. So look, the performances, there was a lot of standout performances for once. You could have easily, if someone said to you Cedric was man of the match, you could have easily given it to him. You couldn't have argued it. If someone said Emile Smith-Rowe, you couldn't have argued. If someone said Partey, I think you couldn't have argued it, although there's a lot more to come from Partey, in my opinion. Even if you said Holding or someone like that, you probably couldn't have argued. For once, we had a decent performance. I hope it's kicking on. So, look, we've won that game. We've got some games coming up. But what I wanted to do then is push on to what we're going to do next, because there's obviously we still, in my opinion, we're going to need a cam. We can't put all this pressure on Emile Smith-Rowe. He's just been given a new contract, I believe, 40 grand a week. Fair play to the lad. I think he's coming, he's deserved it. But we've got issues still if we were to lose a goalie, if we were to lose Emile Smith-Rowe. We've had some outgoings. I mean, we could talk about the outgoings first. I mean, Socrates is on his way out now. We already know that Ozil's gone. We don't want to sort of flog that to death. He's gone. That's it. He's gone. Let's just move on from it. So Ozil's gone. Apparently, the contract for Socrates has been cancelled. I kind of like that. It's ruthless, cut and dry. Let's just move on with it. Do you think they're going to do the same with the likes of Mustafi, for example? What do you think we're going to do next? So we could talk about the outgoings first, and then we need to get them out to bring people in. So what do you guys see happening next? Turkish, I'll go with you on this. Do you see them doing a similar thing with Mustafi? I mean, his contract ends at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Do you think they're just going to keep him until the end of the season as a backup? Is there a chance they could just say, see you later, Mustafi? I don't think so. They'll probably keep him to the end of the season. But what are your thoughts on the outgoings at the moment?
I think, I think you're right. I think Mustafi's here till the end of the season because of Chambers' recovery. We haven't seen how he's recovered yet. And if he did recover maybe November, December, maybe we'd have the option to get rid of Mustafi on top of Socrates too. But Arteta's already said, he sees Mustafi here till the end of the season, then he'll be gone. He's not re-signing a contract. I'm not sure he's been offered one. The rumors were he was offered one. God knows why, but thank God he turned it down. So it's time to move on from this little group we've had that, in my opinion, have held the club back behind the scenes. And Mustafi's one of them. We've got rid of a couple of them already this window. And if you're not going to sign anyone, then do your best to give yourself the best platform in the summer. The only gripes I have is maybe Socrates' contract should have been cut in the first few days. If that's a bit more ruthlessness I'd like to see, but I agree with you, Lev, that it does show a bit more ruthlessness than we're used to. It's just that surely they knew that Socrates is, surplus to requirements in the first week with Kolasinac, move proactively, get it done. But I'm sitting here 3 out, Ozil, Socrates, Kolasinac. and I'm saying to myself, a couple more, and I'll be content with the transfer window. I'm not happy with it, because how can you be happy when you're not signing anyone? You're just getting rid of players. But I can understand why.
Shows how bad they are, doesn't it? We're happy that they're going. In January, you know, if they go, that at least is something. That's what you're saying. It's crazy that we're saying that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of dark clouds over Arsenal. I think Ozil was one of them, you know, and it's good to get rid of that. Saliba was one. He became one because of his situation, and we've sorted that. So for the rest of the season now, we've got Premier League, FA Cup, and Europa League. We haven't got the Ozil cloud. We haven't got the Saliba cloud. We've literally got players here that over the season, they've all been given chances in the 25-man squad. They'll all be given chances. Get rid of the few now. You're going to need to get rid of a few more in the summer. I'm looking at it like that's going to make me happy if you continue at this rate. At this rate would be in the next 11 days, potentially at least one more gone. My worry is that they've done the easy work, and the easy work is Ozil, who turns around and wants to play football now. The easy work is Socrates, who turns around and says, listen, I want to play football now. Kolasinac even. The hard work is Xhaka, Bellerin. It's these decisions that in the next year will have to be made. You know, we're not going to... Look, we're coming up to a crucial period with them where it's either a contract renewal because they're going to have 2-3 years left in the summer, or if the keeping the value thing is so lauded now, then this summer they're going to be at their most valuable because they'll have 3 years left. And as you go into 2 years, 1 year, you get less and less valuable because, you know, you hold the cards. So let's see if the club can get one big one done this summer, because so far I feel like they've done the easy work. But credit to them because they haven't done the easy work before. So,
well, it's hopefully a sign that the mentality is changing, and maybe having Arteta in there, you know, maybe hopefully he's pushing to say, look, these guys are not good enough. This is not what we're looking for. I mean, you mentioned the dark clouds, you know, left behind with the Ozil saga, and you know, we still got a few others, and I'll move this on to Lee as well. But and you can come back on this Turkish if you want to. We still got the likes of your Guendouzi's and your Torreiras who are out on loan. Hertha Berlin apparently potentially interested in Guendouzi, but couldn't afford him. There's no chance they can afford him, apparently. That's what I'm hearing. Also, he's playing quite well. But an interesting thing I did see, and there was an interview with Fabrizio. Now, he mentioned in one of the questions with regards to Guendouzi in this interview that he was sent out on loan because of things happening behind the scenes at the club. But now that that's changing, he could be coming back. Now, is that an indicator that there was something going on that was relative to the Ozil situation, and now that Ozil's going, Socrates is going, and these Mustafis of this world, is that an indicator, without actually telling us too much, that there was a problem with this link? Lee, I'll throw this at you in Turkish if you want to come in as well, say this. And Lee, what else do you think is going to be happening? What would you like to see happen?
Well, first of all, I think Turkish is right. Clear the decks ready for the summer. That's what you've got to do. I will say this. About Socrates, I don't think that he was ever good enough, but I think, you know, you can't knock him for his dedication and the way he conducted himself, and he gave it for every Arsenal game. It just unfortunately wasn't good enough, and you know, but I got a lot of admiration for him, like the way he was, and again, as Turkish alluded to, showed his quality, because he could have probably said, no, I'll stick it out on big money at Arsenal, but he wants to, you know, play, and also just shows you that he's a proper man as well, I think, like, you know. So good luck to him. Whatever he does, I'm hope he gets a good club and does a real good job. The other one, Mustafi, I don't care. I don't know more, like, you know what I mean? You know, never been for me. You know, tweeting out what he tweeted the other day. There's ways to tweet out about players leaving, and basically what he tweeted out is basically don't care what he thinks about the fans and all that. Like, he also, what gets me about that is that he knows that the fans are divided. They ain't stupid. He knows that the fans are divided about Ozil, whether you like him or you don't. You know, for me, I've never been a hater of Mesut Ozil, but there's a lot. I've never known a player to bring out so much divide in a fan base. I'll be honest. But anyway. So he knew that, and he just stoked up the fire, as far as I'm concerned. See you later, and hurry up and get out. Like, and I'll tell you what, I bet he don't get out, because he won't get better money than what he's on now. You might. I'll be very, very surprised.
it's ironic that he come out to defend his teammate, because I wish he defended like that on the pitch.
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's a great point. If only he could defend like that on Twitter, like on a field, what a great player he would have been. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Absolutely, mate.
But listen, I've seen a few comments saying about Torreira coming back. Like, I think Torreira's a decent player, but it's just not suited to the Premier League. So if we can get some decent money for him, that will help. I think that'd be a good thing if we can get some money for him. I would like to see that money maybe now, you know what I mean, terminate his loan in Madrid and sell him to somebody else so we can get some finances. I think that Turkish is right. We've got players coming up, and I'll tell you, 2 players from up front in Eddie and Lacazette are going to be going into their last year. They're strikers at this moment in time. You know, if they're not going to be signing contracts and they're not going to be part of it, I think that, you know, it's going to be difficult now to sell these players in this window because you need to get somebody in. But if Arsenal were to, say, bring in another centre forward and sell them too, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it. Not that I've got anything against Lacazette and all that. They're playing well. But I am fed up with Arsenal Football Club, and hearing on the papers, Arsenal have got no money. Right, fed up with it. And then on the other hand, I see Mesut Ozil go for nothing, Socrates go for nothing, Mustafi go for nothing.
It's about 190 mil worth of players gone for nothing, right? I've seen.
Unbelievable.
You might as well have just burnt it. You might as well just poured petrol all over it and just burnt it.
Exactly. You know, and this has been going on and going on. I can go back even like further down the line, you know, to Wiltall, to Edu, you know what I mean? Players that went for nothing, you know what I mean? Like Ashley Cole's contract run right down where we couldn't get the money that we should have got for the best left back in the world. You know, I'm fed up with it. So if we have to lose Lacazette and we have to lose these guys now with 1 year, 3 years on their contract, so be it. We need to be, I think, so much better in the transfer window because we can't. If you be honest about it, we can't even get rid of Mustafi for nothing. We can't do it. You know, I mean, 30 million.
No one wants him. No one wants him, Lee. I mean, I'd be worried about Laka because for me, he's the only one at the moment that's bringing in the interlink with the youngsters, and I think he's crucial to that. That would be my only concern about losing Lacazette right now. And plus, he is scoring.
I totally get that, but he's gone into his 30s now. So you know, and I think that that's a great thing. But you've got Aubameyang in his 30s, you've got Lacazette in his 30s. There's no sell-on value for these players now, like, do you know what I mean? So you're not going to be able to sell Aubameyang on the wages that he's on and a transfer fee now to somebody, unless it's China or someone like that, because it's just too much. It's just too much money. Do you know what I mean? Like to do that. But Lacazette, you probably could do. He's on good money as well, Lacazette. You know what I mean? So I can tell you this now. He's going to sit there and probably think to himself, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. And nothing against him, by the way, because it's his prerogative, is to hang out for the extra year. Because I'll tell you what, Lacazette going to a club, say in the summer, for 30 million plus wages is going to be a limited amount of clubs. Lacazette going at the end of the next season with a free transfer, there's going to be a lot more takers. So, you know, these are the things that you've got to think of. And these are the things we're not thinking ahead. You know what I mean? Like if Arsenal weren't going to sign Lacazette on a long-term contract or whatever, like the summer just gone, they should have gone. But I will say this, in the defence of Arsenal, with what's gone on with the COVID and all that, I suppose it could be a little bit difficult. But they've got to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to selling players. It's all right saying, oh, you've done really well, you know, we've got rid of this player for free, this player for free. Mesut Ozil, you know, he's 32 years of age, he's 42 million we spent on him. We not got a penny back for him. Not a penny.
I would have thought an MLS club or something would have come in for him and bought him, and we could have made some money out of it or something. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we're just giving these players away. We did it with Ramsey. Ramsey not long ago.
Ramsey, you know what I mean? Like, I think was a major mistake. You know what I mean? We've not replaced Aaron Ramsey because if you look at our midfield at the moment, it couldn't score in a brothel. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, like, we haven't got no one scoring goals. from midfield? Who scores goals from midfield?
Well, Emil Smith-Rowe started to. He did against Newcastle the other day. He started to. He makes those runs in behind, don't he, that Ramsey used to make.
I agree with that, but I'm talking about like before, this season. Smith-Rowe's come in. He's been injured for most of the season. Well, he come back. He's been sensational in 6 games. But I'm talking the long term. How many goals has Xhaka got this season? How many goals has Ceballos got this season? I don't think he scored. Xhaka got one from a free kick. So we're allowing these players to go for nothing, and then not replacing them. And then and if you look to say like this just say it, Aaron Ramsey, to get a goal scoring midfield player is minimum 30 million, minimum. But we're happy to let these players go for nothing. You know what I mean? And so we've now got to clear the decks to get wages in. It's going to take shall I say it? Kroenke's going to have to invest some money because of mismanagement in the last 3-4 years, guys. You know what I mean? And it cannot continue. And it's holding us back. It's held us back this summer because we've got players that we can't get rid of, and it will I think it will hold us back in this transfer window as well. Hopefully, clear the decks, and they'll be all ready so we can make some moves in August, is it, or July? We leave it to the end of the month, end of the transfer window, September.
Well, they're certainly not holding you back, Lee. That's for sure, mate. No. Look, I mean, hopefully the introduction of Mr. Garlic, who's coming over from West Brom, should sort out these contract issues and maybe get a lot better with the negotiating and the contracts that we put in place in future. Let's hope that is the reason that he's being brought in. And I don't know too much about him. I'm not going to pretend I do. I mean, if anyone does or you guys do, let me know. I mean, we'll just have a quick look in the chats here. We've got Marco Aragoni. Can we let William go already? He's saying. We've got why not William? Yeah, let's get rid of William. He's saying hit the likes, by the way, guys. Yes, I haven't got my partner in crime who usually does this for me. So if either of you two want to nip in every now and then and help me out, guys, hit those likes. Yeah, smash those likes. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. If you're coming across from Facebook, from Gunner Social or Arsenal Lounge, and you're not subscribed yet, please do so and hit those likes and put your notifications on. Put them on and make sure that you know what's coming up when we have programs planned. So that's my little bit there. But yeah, there's a lot going on in here. Someone suggesting me, Lee, and Turkish should play up front. Don't know about what that's all about. Thomas Fitzpatrick, it says, think Hector has played his last game for Arsenal, might get run out in the Europa League. Don't want to see him back in the Premier League. Wow. I mean,
just say something on that.
Yeah, go on.
Our next game's the FA Cup, right? Saturday. And then we've got Southampton again then on the Tuesday night. I can see, right, Mikel Arteta playing Cedric on Saturday, so he's had 2 games, and then saying, "Oh, like, I'm resting him to get Hector Bellerin back in." Like, I'll go on record now. Within 2 games, Hector Bellerin's back in.
I think it'll be a travesty if Cedric gets dropped after that performance. I mean, as Turkish rightly said, and I'm not exaggerating, it was one of the best right-back performances I've seen, especially for an Arsenal shirt, for a long time.
It's a fantastic performance, but I'm pretty sure that, the conversation will be, we're resting you for this game, Hector. There's certain players in the team that are nailed on. Why, I don't know, and I agree. But sometimes players come knowing they're going to be a backup. I don't know what reason, but I genuinely believe that. Totally agree with what both of you were saying about the conversation about Cedric, because I thought he was brilliant. I'll be honest, a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. And the balance of one fullback doing it on one side, one fullback doing it on the other is something that we've not had. But we'll wait and see. But I'll be very, if I'll be honest, I think I'd like to see Hector playing on Saturday, because that would mean then that Cedric will be playing on the Tuesday. So we'll wait and see.
Well, that would make more sense, wouldn't it, in the way Arteta works? He usually drops the first of an FA Cup, he plays someone else. So, yeah, you're right. I think let's pray that Bellerin plays next game. That's a crazy thing to say, actually. But look, we've discussed the outgoings. I mean, we know Guendouzi might be coming back. His form's picking up. Torreira, I'm hearing, is not going anywhere and is maybe potentially hoping to come back at some point. That's another thing I've heard. I'm not sure how true that is. So coming in is the juicy part. That's the one we really want to talk about. And Turkish, I'll start with you because I know that you're not overly confident that we're going to do any business in January. That's a scary thought for a number of reasons. One, if we lose Leno. Two, if we lose Emil Smith-Rowe. I mean, I could go on, really. I mean, we don't have a similar player to Partey, do we, really? Who's that physical, who can get up and down. Yeah. Massive difference with Partey in that midfield. What do you want to see done? What do you think's going to happen? I mean, Buendia in January, 40, 50 million. I can't see it. I don't think Norwich want to let him go. 40, 50 million for a championship player. Is it worth it? Would you prefer to go and get Hwassim or after that? I mean, what do you think's happening?
It's a massive risk either way. I think Aouar's as big a risk as Buendia would be, as we saw from Pepe and his French league form converted into Premier League. You know, Aouar hasn't got nearly as many plaudits in France as Pepe did at that time. You know, Aouar's got potential, but it's all risks. And Arsenal are in a position where we can't get certified talent. So most transfers we do are going to have to be risks. It's going to have to be maybe the players that are out to prove themselves after a tough time, or the players that are just coming through and might want to use us as a stepping stone. We're going to have to utilize these and be shrewd in the market in that way. I just want to touch on what Lee was saying earlier with the contracts, because he's right. Like we've done it to ourselves again with Willian. You know, someone said about selling Willian. We can't sell Willian because we've just signed him to a bumper contract.
And who's going to pay that?
Exactly. And he's 3 years. He's got 3 years now. So that literally there's no chance of Willian leaving this summer. Maybe not even next summer. So, you know, we've just got to start erasing these mistakes. In the past 2 years, remember when Don Raul came in and he turned around to us and he said, we won't be letting no other players go into their last 2 years of their contract. But in that season, our best player, Oba, goes into his last 2 years of his contract. Lacazette, last 2 years of the contract. Ozil, last 2 years. So you're telling us one thing, but literally the opposite is happening. And literally it's weeks later. But we as fans still kind of don't pinpoint that they're the ones that are the problem, in a sense, because they're feeding us lies to get us over the line. And when they're over the line, there's no transfer window to fall back on. And as fans, we've got to be content. We've got to look at fixes inside the team, like Emil Smith-Rowe. It's not really fair that we rely on youngsters now, but it also gives them a massive opportunity. But if we think that these youngsters are going to be happy in 3 years, if this club doesn't move forward in them 3 years, then we're going to be in for heartbreak. Same way we was in for heartbreak last time with the British core or the Nasri, Fabregas, Van Persie core and all of that. We'll be in for heartbreak again if we don't start getting these contracts and signings and be a bit more shrewd and get it right. So I think this month, I'm going to say we're not going to get anyone. We're in the last 11 days. We're not strongly linked to anyone. And I'd rather us not panic. I don't think Buendia is a panic buyer because that would be someone I want. But I'd rather...
You actually want him, do you? You actually you think he's up there and he's capable of playing at that level?
Listen, in the summer, when Aouar passed and the domestic window was open for 2 extra weeks, I said Benrahma and Buendia. If the club want to fix the creativity problem that they missed with Aouar, then bring in Benrahma or Buendia. Benrahma went to West Ham. Buendia remained. January comes, we're lacking creativity. Buendia in the Premier League, guess he got 1 goal and 7 assists, and people bring him down for that. But he created 3 key chances per game. And in Europe, that's top 10. In Europe, for Norwich, top 10.
The third highest assists man last season in the Prem before they went down. I've read somewhere that Buendia was up there for assists for Norwich in the season that they
chances created. Chances created. So he was behind De Bruyne and Grealish, I believe, and one more player.
That's not bad, is it?
He's got the ability. Now people will say he's a right winger, but in the modern game, you know, your wingers can operate as a 10. Grealish plays on the left, but essentially he's a 10. He comes inside. Buendia is a bit similar. Buendia, in terms of being both-footed, he would be perfect for us in terms of rotation with Emil, or maybe even playing alongside, giving Saka a rest. I know Saka's burst onto the scene now. I know Emil's burst onto the scene now. But it doesn't mean you bang them out for 50 games, because look at Jack Wilshere, who had a higher ceiling than all of these youngsters right now, maybe not Martinelli. But because we banged him out for 50, 60 games one season, injuries, we didn't get the Wilshere we expected to get. So we need to protect these young players as much as giving them a chance, sign the right players around them to protect them too. So I think that let's not panic this month. Let's make sure that this summer we are ready. get rid of his.
Listen, everyone's going mad in this chat. I have noticed the Odegaard thing. I do know about Odegaard. I mean, look, apparently it's being confirmed that we're interested in Odegaard. So Turkish and Lee, you know, is that the sort of I would have him for a loan period? I mean, what do you guys think? We can go Lee, Turkish, Odegaard. Everyone's going mad. Talk about Odegaard. It's been announced in Sky. Please don't skip it, says James Haddon. Please don't skip. Sky have confirmed Arsenal have made an approach for Real. Now, when I watched interview with Fabrizio earlier on, he was still looking into it. It was still fresh, sort of rumor-wise. When I first heard about it, I thought this would be for me. Like, you know, out of all of those, Isco is probably unrealistic, in my opinion. I don't know. He's a quality player for me. I'm not interested in Eriksen because I'm not convinced he could be on the way down career-wise. Odegaard, guys, everyone wants us to talk about it. Lee, Turkish, we'll start with Lee. Odegaard, what do you think? Would you have him? Is it the sort of player we want?
Listen, I think that a couple of years ago, he was the most sought-after teenager, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So, and listen, because it doesn't work out in Real Madrid doesn't mean to say you're a bad player, because there's lots of players that go there and can't make it for whatever reason. And I'm interested in that one. That does look good if it is true, because he's the sort of midfield player that we could really do with, someone that's young and got potential as well, and can mould into what we need. And I think that it's come. What is surprising about this is it's come out of nowhere. Now, I don't know what sort of fee you'd be looking at for him, if I'll be honest.
I think it's a loan initially. I mean, someone here, very quickly, someone here has gone, I don't want Odegaard, I want Grealish. This isn't Football Manager, mate. You're not going to get Grealish in a January transfer window. So let's just put that one to bed. I mean, let's get realistic here. Sorry, Lee. Go on, carry on, mate.
Listen, if you're going to, say, I don't know, someone, I just mentioned it was 60 million for him. And I agree with that. If you're going to go and spend 60 million on him, I'd rather go and pay 70, 80 million on Grealish, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? That's what, where you're taking again. But listen, if it's a loan deal with a possibility to buy, then we need to improve our midfield. We need to upgrade our midfield players. I don't care what anybody says. And if that is one that may do that to Odegaard, I would definitely be looking at Basuma. Is it who's the one at Brighton? Basuma, is it? Or
Basuma. Yeah, I like Basuma.
I like the look of him to go alongside Partey and compete there. And now people turn around and say, well, you know, he might not come in January. And make it happen in January. If you say to Brighton, look, we'll give you so-and-so on loan and someone like Eddie on loan or Eddie as well, where I think Brighton play some really good, to be honest, I think they play some really, really good football, but don't take their chances. That might suit someone like Eddie going down there. Make something happen. You know what I mean? Like, it might happen in the summer, but, you know, we have to get in some sort of players because we're 10th in the league. We need to improve. So, I say if look, they're reporting it on Sky with a loan move, I'm going to put like loan move.
It's dividing the chat.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Some people are saying, "Oh, yeah, he's exactly what we need." Others are saying, "Oh, it's another Ceballos." It's crazy how, you know, fans think they know and they don't.
That's a great point about Ceballos, because Ceballos isn't our player, so you can't. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, I like Ceballos, but I can't get right close to Ceballos, if you know what I mean, because he's not our player. You know what I mean? He could go back next season or whatever, like, you know. And is he really? You know, I don't know. If he was an Arsenal player, you know, it's different. You know, but there's always that. Oh, he's going back next year, so he's not going to do this and he's going to do that. I'm not too sure. You know, loans are going back in the day, guys. Loans were for the smaller clubs. You know what I mean? Like big clubs bought. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that it's being done a little bit more now. Manchester United are doing it, and others.
Well, it's difficult times as well with a pandemic.
But Manchester City don't get loans, do they? Chelsea don't get loans. Why?
Oh, look what's happened to Chelsea. They splashed I know, how much money?
My point being is that they're backed by big owners and they spend money. You know, they don't get loans, do they?
Yeah, no, they don't.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, listen, if we can get him on loan for and there's an option to buy at the end of it, I ain't got a problem with that. We need to improve.
I can see Turkish frantically looking at his phone and getting updates. He's probably got a few connections in there, tweeting a few of his mates. Odegaard, you've seen it. It's dividing the chats. Some people were like all over it, saying obviously we knew as a teenager he was highly touted. He's meant to be right for that position. Some are saying he's going Sociedad. What's your thoughts on the Odegaard thing?
Yeah, I said before that any signing we make is a risk, but this one, in terms of impact, massive risk. In terms of finances, not so much, because it'll just be a 6-month loan.
Yeah.
So it might be to shut us up for a few months, or it might be to actually, utilize him in a way that can have a positive impact. He signed for Real. I don't know when he signed for Real, but it feels like 3-4 years ago now, and he hasn't kicked on. I know he's young, but I don't think he's that young anymore. That's my problem with it. I think he's at an age now, I believe he's early 20s. So
yeah,
why
so.
With Real in the situation they've been in the last couple of years, why haven't the opportunities arisen for him there? Real are not exactly Galacticos right now. Surely, there's an opportunity to be had there. I know he's got injury problems too, so that's a problem. We've got Denis Suarez last January injury. Was it last January or the January before? Injury problems. We saw
didn't
him
even play. Hardly played, did he?
Yeah. So in reality, I'd prefer, us to do proper business. And that would have been something like, if West Ham wanted Eddie, take the 20 mil, give Brighton 20 mil and say, listen, we'll give you 20 mil now. We'll give you 10 plus Willock in the summer and give us Basuma now. Things like that, start flexing some sort of muscle, Arsenal. Because this is
do you not think that Basuma is a different type of player, though, to the type of cam role that they're looking to fill right now? I mean, I want Basuma, by the way. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think he's perfect. But it would be, for me, it would be a replacement for El Neni. I'd even get Xhaka out, and I think he's been really good the last couple of games. Xhaka, I mean, I've got to give credit where it's due, but he's not my type of player. But Basuma isn't what we're wanting right now, is it? I mean, we've got a couple of stop gaps in that role, Xhaka and El Neni. Is it right to go for Basuma right now? Is it better to go for this cam?
Well, the key change that's happened over the last few weeks, Chelsea, was Emile Smith-Rowe picking up number 10 position, Saka being moved out right, and Martinelli coming back. I think after the Palace game 0-0, where they stifled Emile and they stifled Saka, it got a bit predictable. Luckily, against Newcastle, we had Partey back, which is another player that takes the attention away from others. Tierney came back in too. So when you have other players in there, if we got Basuma, our starting midfield is Basuma, Partey with Emile in front. Now, we can argue that, Buendia might come in and rotate with Emile. We need a Buendia as much as we need a Basuma. We need a Lamptey as much as we need a Buendia. We've got so many priorities at this club that if you can be shrewd this month, because come the summer, there's going to be other teams interested in Basuma. There's going to be other teams interested in Buendia. It might push the price up. It might price us out. Try and be shrewd. West Ham sold Haller for 25 mil. God knows how. But go and do them and take 15, 20 for Eddie. And on top of that, like we've done with the part payments for Pepe, you can work out a deal for Basuma or even Buendia. Surely Norwich would take 15 mil plus Willock plus 20 mil in the summer for Buendia. Surely something like that. That's just off the top of my head an offer to make. It's realistic, but it's not going to happen. And Odegaard, it's a massive risk. And with all massive risks, it can be a massive success. It could be a massive failure. We're used to massive failures as loans, unless it's Thierry Henry, the king, coming back. All the other loans for us hasn't worked out. Yeah. So I think
they haven't. Not hardly any of them.
I won't hold my breath about it. But on one hand, it's made us think, you know what, at least Arsenal are talking to someone. But don't you feel like that feeling we've had before where we're not getting what we want, but because they're doing something else, it's like, all right, let's see. I got that feeling again because of this news, and I've just literally heard the news just now, so it's breaking news for me, and I've got that feeling. I've got that feeling where Odegaard a few years ago, massive potential, massive name, would have been a great young signing, to Odegaard now in a Real team that haven't performed in the last couple of years as good as they have done in the past. He's 21, 22 years of age. He's 22 years of age. That is Ceballos last year, where maybe not same position, but when we signed Ceballos, is young talent, early 20s. He wants to prove himself to Real and go back. He had a good under 23 championships or whatever. in the end, where is Ceballos? That's a better question to ask right now. So Odegaard for me, interesting, but not exciting.
Ooh, interesting, not exciting, says Turkish. Let's have a quick look through the chats. We've got Ömer Tanrıover, who's obviously knows Turkish is in the house, and probably I don't know if he knows I'm Turkish as well. Says Türkiye'den selamlar, which if you don't know what that means, that's basically saying hello from Turkey. What about Gwen? Says Greeny Man TV. I've seen Benini, aka Lee, the Spurs fan, hoping we lose. Hello to you, mate. Let's have a look what else people are saying. People here are saying no, some people don't want him. Some people are saying we need a goalkeeper, right back, CDM and a cam. You could argue that's correct, really, but that's not going to happen until the summer. So look, if Odegaard's not the guy for you, if that's not what the excitement is, and no, we've looked at it. I mean, goalkeeper wise as well, we don't want to forget that, because as we've already said, Leno in great form, by the way. I think it's really gone under the radar. I was saying this on a show with Shaheen the other day. Everyone was very quick with Martinez when he went and he was playing at Villa and he was playing well. And it was a bit shaky start for Leno when he returned. Everyone, we sold the wrong keeper. And they were so quick on it. Leno has been great for the last couple of games, and no one says a peep. And that's a continuing trend with a lot of our fans. But if that's not going to happen, what are we going to do with the goalie? What do you want to do? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, personally, I'm going to be straight with you. I don't think Wendy is going to happen. I don't think Wendy's not now. I can't see us spending that type of money for him right now in the January transfer window. I know Lee's fixation with this Mari thing, for example, and them not paying because if he plays another game, it's going to cost 900 grand. Apparently, Lee might even think that we need to sell before we can give them that money. We want to put some people out before we pay that money. So if that's the way we're acting right now, there's no way we're going to spend 50, 60 million on Buendia during the January transfer window for myself. But there's been talk of Freddie Woodman from, I think, Newcastle, who's out on loan at Swansea at the moment as a goalie. Apparently he's goalkeeping coach at Arsenal. His dad is a goalkeeping coach at Arsenal. So I don't know if there's any links there, but that's the only goalkeeper I've heard of. So what is going on? What are we going to do? I mean, if we can't surely go in after January without a backup goalie. We can't go in without somebody as a backup for ESR, because please, God, I hope we're not thinking, oh, well, if Emil Smith-Rowe gets injured, we can use Willian in that 10, or we can use Pepe in that 10, because it's already proven they're not in form. It's not guaranteed to work. What are we going to do, Turkish?
I struggle to make the goalkeeper situation a priority in my mind. I know we need one,
but if he gets injured, God forbid.
Liverpool's keepers got injured over the years. Adrian's come in and messed up. City's keepers got injured over the years. Bravo and Caballero have come in and messed up at times. And that's the two best clubs in the country that their backup keepers haven't been adequate. So that's why I look at it with our situation now and I say it could be massive if Leno gets injured. But it's a big if with keepers. So I think as much as we need a backup, there's other things that we need to fix first.
So given the choice, you'd leave the goalkeeper thing. You'd be happy to leave that.
Unless we can pull one out the bag with a decent name, whether through experience or whether through potential, then do it. But I wouldn't make it a priority right now. Considering how we rushed Runnison in, I think make a more informed decision and get him in the summer.
I mean, even Spurs went out and got bloody well Joe Hart. I would have been happy with someone like Joe Hart for now.
He's come in and looked like a clown as well. Literally, I can go through backup keepers.
Have you seen him play? I haven't seen it.
There's a game he tried to save the ball here and it bounces here and bounces into the net. And that was just one of many mistakes I've seen from Joe Hart.
It was in Europa League, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, their other second goalie was the ex-Swansea goalie. What's his name? And he looks terrible every time he plays as well. So
I think United have been blessed, and we've been blessed with a good backup keeper over the years. But United and us haven't been exactly the best of teams over the last few years. So when you look at the big six teams, the two teams with the best backup keeper, United with Romero and Arsenal with Martinez, done fuck all. So I don't know how important it is, unless obviously it comes to an injury. Liverpool don't see the importance of a backup keeper until Alisson gets injured. Adrian's in there making mistakes, or Karius a couple of years ago. You know, so it's problems that even the bigger clubs have right now in getting a backup keeper because, you know, who wants to be a backup? What quality keeper will want to be a backup? Very few. So it's difficult.
Right. Well, we got ourselves a Runerson. So there you go. Lee, I mean, would you address the goalkeeper situation? Do you think it's a must-have? Or would you, like Turkish is saying, you know, ideally just focus on getting this cam or this midfielder that we need and leave that?
Well, you can do both as far as I'm concerned. I think the priority is to get some players in, because if we don't, let's be honest, if we don't bring in any players, you can write off this season, because we're not going to be good enough to win the Europa League. We're not going to be good enough to get top four. We need to, if Arsenal are serious about getting back into the Champions League, they will invest in this window. I don't care whether it's over the top for whoever it is, they've got to do it. I would look at maybe on the backup goalkeeper situation. I totally agree with what Turkish is saying. It's going to be hard, but I would think to myself that someone like Fraser Foster at Southampton, would you rather be a backup goalkeeper at Southampton or at the Arsenal? That's how I look at it.
It wasn't long ago that he was touted to be a great goalie, and it didn't happen. You know, so that's a fair point.
There's goalkeepers out there that could do that, and that's no disrespect to Southampton or whatever. You know, to come to a club like Arsenal and an opportunity to play some games, you know, would be a good thing. Not maybe this season, but certainly over next season. You're always going to get the League Cup games and FA Cup games. So I do think there is an opportunity. We should be looking at that. I don't think we should be like gunning out for a goalkeeper. I think that we should be looking in other areas. And midfield is a priority. I'm a little bit like Turkish. I think we can get away with the right back and left back this season. Probably even the central defence this season. Just, you know, we can ride them out. But I don't think if we're going to really challenge for honours, we need to go in there. And I'll tell you why, because if anything happens to Smith Rowe, we've got Willian as a backup. You know what I mean? If anything happens to Partey, we've got an El Neni. That's not going to win you the Europa League. That's not even going to get you nowhere near the Europa League. So we've got to bring in a couple of players that can back that up and strengthen it, and also not be flogging these youngsters. And that's what we're doing at the moment. I know, even with Saka, I love Saka. He's a great player. I'm presuming that he'll be left out of the FA Cup game. But even if he's left out of the FA Cup game, it's still 2 games in a week, still 3 games in a week. 3 games. These are young kids, so we don't want to be flogging them. We don't want to see, you know. So we need to help these kids as well by bringing in quality players to help them develop as well. It's not just about them, you know, making them develop and making them better players as well. If we don't do that in January, fine. We know then that we're going to write off this season and we're going to go again in the summer. And that's how I look at it now, like, you know, and we will see. I'm not a betting man, and I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't bet a lot of money on that Arsenal don't do anything. Maybe a little loan here or a goalkeeper thing here. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal didn't spend. And I, you know, I'll go back to the Mari one, like, you know what I mean? He was on fire. All of a sudden, he's got an injury in training.
There we go. Conspiracy time.
Yeah. You've got to ask the question. You know what I mean? Like, our Arsenal, I'm not saying that he's not going to play that way, but they might be thinking, well, we've got so-and-so off. We could save £1 million for him here. Get, you know, now that Socrates is off, we can pay that £1 million to Flamingo. You know, are the club that skint? And if they are that skint, how the hell are these people still in jobs? That is beyond me. You know what I mean? It's, you know, my club is being badly run, and the proof's in the pudding. If we're having to skin flint to make signings, now I've had to skin flint for 2016 when we went there. So how long back? Like 14 years. My maths ain't great. 14 years of having to pay over the odds, making sure that I've got money to go to the Emirates for loan signings. You know, come on, this club's being run ragged lately, like, you know what I mean? And I can see things are happening. Let's hope that they can do. But I'll tell you what, I'm not holding out much hope for anything this season. And then when we lose to Benfica or someone a little bit better along the line, there's only one. There's the blame's at the door of the board, not Arteta on this one, because there is the opportunity in January to do something about it, and you've failed. So you've still got 2 or 10 days, I think Turkish said, to sort it out.
You know what, Lee? You hit some really interesting points there with regards to the young players. We've got a history of not protecting young players and then, and then ruining them. Jack Wilshere is one of them for me. When there was a situation when I think it was Fabregas got injured, we didn't want to go out and spend. We went and used Wilshere and he was playing well, very much like Emil Smith-Rowe right now. He was playing well, picked up a little ankle, I think it was. He was off for a little bit. We were so desperate, we rushed him back. And then it started to, it went from there. It went wrong from there. And we've done that with quite a few young players. So massive point. We can't, although these kids are good and we don't want to hold them back. At the same time, we've got to manage them. And in the past, we've let them down. So I agree with you. We need to add to protect and also to have people that we can rotate. 100% on that with you, mate. So, very, very good point. So, guys, I mean, look, it's getting close to the hour mark. I know everyone's pretty busy. Let's move it on because we could be on this all day. We've got a game coming up, and the next 5 or 6 games, massive running for us. There's a 15 potential points we could get. We've got some big teams in there that we got to play. We got to play United. That's at home. We got to play Wolves. There's a few tough games in there, but we got the game on Saturday. Initially, I think FA Cup against Southampton. What do you think we're going to do? Who do you think he's going to drop? Who do you think he's going to play? And a prediction, please. Turkish.
I think he'll rotate for the FA Cup. And yeah, I'm not too confident going into the 2 games because
come on, bro, don't do this to me. We're on a 6-match run at the moment.
We are, but in those 6 games, I think Chelsea is the only one that stands out as the one where we support. Good point. And Lampard, and look what he's done since. We're not the only ones to take points off them in similar fashion. Southampton are a good side, structured, well organized. They got good players in the right positions. They got a good spine.
Is he going to protect Partey? Is he going to? Because for me, massive. Yes. Partey, the retention, the ball retention is what's helping us now with Partey in that midfield. It's taken pressure off the back line. It's also giving us more options when on the ball, more chances to pick people out. Do you think he's going to sort of ease him off and protect him?
It's such a difficult one. You ease him off. Even if you play him, there's a risk of a loss. And if you lose this next game, then the Southampton game on Tuesday becomes more of a problem because how mentality and character is a problem at the club. So another loss, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. FA Cup's our trophy. FA Cup is it's Arsenal, and I want to go for it again. It's so difficult. I'm gonna go for and they're both away, right? Both games are away.
I think so. Yeah. Southampton, back to back because they beat us. Did they beat us? They beat us at home, didn't they? Was it a draw or beat us? 1-1. That's it. Walcott scored. Yeah.
Do you want my honest opinion, or do you want me to try and be hopeful?
It's called real talk, Turkish. It's not called anything else. So yeah, give it to us. Hit us.
My honest opinion is we're going to lose to Southampton FA Cup and we're going to draw in the league. That's my honest opinion. Mystic
Turkish is going in hard. Loss in the second game, loss in the first game, draw in the second game. Why do you think that? Do you think he's going to sort of maybe drop a few of the players? Hopefully, look, it's not going to be a bad lineup. A back line, Bellerin can come in if we goes the way we want it to go. Bellerin can come in that right back spot. You could play someone like a Maitland-Niles, although he was awful in that left back position last time he played. We got enough centre backs. He could. Hopefully, they could play Mari. They could play Gabriel, bring him back in. So we could have a decent back line. Only problem is he can't really drop Leno, can he? We don't have it. Or is Runarsson still here? I heard he was going out on loan. So I don't know if Runarsson's still going to be in that. But then midfield-wise, that's where it starts to get a bit dodgy, isn't it? Where we lack that depth, because then we'll go with someone like an El Neni and a Ceballos or something like that, and then get a lot of side-to-side movement. He'll probably drop Emil Smith-Rowe and try to put him in cotton wool. You've got the option of bringing Martinelli in instead of Saka. Yeah, so we have got that there. Eddie and Nketiah and things like it can work. We can have a decent side, but my concern is we need to keep this run going. So it's a fine line. If we lose, that confidence can dip. So Lee, you've heard what Turkish is saying. He's saying potentially a draw and a loss.
Don't know what he's on about.
That's it. That's what I like to hear. Lee. Go on, tell us what's really happening, Lee.
I'll tell you what. I honestly think that I hate these games when you've got like a team like twice in a row. It's happening. I think it's going to happen if we get through this with Wolves as well. Like it's a real thing. But I think that Arsenal will play a squad. I think but let's have a look at that squad. Pepe's going to have to will come back in. Willian will come back in. So as you say, Eddie might play, Willock might play, Ceballos might play. Now, if we're thinking of rotating the squad and the side, then maybe Southampton are as well.
They have to. Yeah, you're right.
So if Southampton, for instance, go, right, we're going to go strong in the FA Cup, which they might well do, then we may lose that one because if we're playing a squad, but then we'll be stronger for it 3 days later in the league. So I think that it's now I remember going to getting drawn to Southampton a couple of years ago and thinking, it's a real tough game and everything like that. And we played a squad, they played a squad. Southampton 0, Arsenal 5. Now it's a little bit different now. Their squad's a lot stronger, but I still think if they play their second string and we play our second string, I think that we've got a great chance of winning it. Because if you look back in the League Cup, Leicester away, Liverpool away, we played second string against their second string. Where are they? Those two teams in the league, they're right up there, and we got results because we have got a little bit of quality in depth. If, say, for instance, they leave a Walcott out, like we leave a Saka out, we've got a Martinelli to come in. We've got a Pepe to come in. So we have got, and then it's up to these bloody players to perform. No good saying, right, we've got Willian in, we've got Pepe in. They haven't got to perform because if they do perform, then we're in with a chance. We're in with a chance of doing well. So I'm gonna feel that we will sneak through the FA Cup game. I'm going to go round the other way. I think that we'll beat Southampton in the FA Cup and probably draw on the Premier League game. And away from home to Southampton, ain't all doom and gloom if you draw there. I know we want to win games, but it ain't. That's a tough place to go. So if you want my opinion, I'll take getting through to the next round in the FA Cup and a draw. In the Premier League. Obviously, I'd like to win both, but I just think that maybe, that 2 games in bloody 3 days against the same team is always tough.
You know what? Hit the nail on the head, Lee. I think a lot of teams are having these problems. It's an unprecedented season, isn't it? So a lot of games back to back, a lot of depleted squads, a lot of really strange results, unexpected results. I mean, I was watching, I think DT said the other day, he doesn't do accumulators anymore. Whereas do you remember back in the day, you did an accumulator, and it was a really good point he made. You used to look at that, that's a definite 3-point home win, that's a definite, win there. You can't do that anymore. It's just, You
sound like a true gambler, Lev. I used to do that as well, where I used to think that's a definite. I used to fucking lump money on it. And
do you know what? I never used to gamble because I'm a bad loser. But I used to have mates that did that, the accumulators, this, that, and it was quite obvious a lot of the time, the results. But now it's impossible. I mean, West Brom, you could say, look, we smacked West Brom the other day, and then other teams have drawn or lost to them. But then, look at Chelsea, 1 minute they're winning, 1 minute they're losing. Liverpool, there's no guarantees anymore.
You ain't got to look at City today, you know what I mean? Like Aston Villa, after all that COVID, I think I'm just looking at it now, 76 minutes gone, 0-0. You would put a lot of money on City winning that, even without the COVID. But all these players, I think Villa have only had 2 days training, 0-0 at this moment in time. That's it just shows you it's tough to predict.
Yeah, I mean, look, with me, I'm going to be really frank and honest here. Out of those 2 games, the FA Cup and the league, if we were going to lose one, I'd rather lose the FA Cup game and win that league game, right? Because I think we'll play a very strong team in that league game. 100%, the parties will be there. Everyone that we saw the other day will be in that team, in that starting 11. I strongly believe with that starting 11, we'll beat this Southampton team. I think we're on a roll. I think we've got a far better balance with two fullbacks that are attacking. If we play Cedric and Tierney, I think it creates more space because there's more overlaps going on. You've got Partey with the retention that we didn't have before due to his injuries. I think it gives our strikers more possession, more options to move around, because we know we're going to keep that ball and have a sustained retention of the ball over a period of 90 minutes. So I'm going to say if we're going to lose or draw, it's going to be the Southampton, the FA Cup game at Southampton, and I think we'll go all out for that league game. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say we're going to play the Willians and the Pepes and all of that for the FA Cup game, and I think he's going to go all out, the best team we've got in that league game, and I think we'll win that league game 2-1. I think we might get knocked out at the FA Cup on Saturday. So that's my prediction there. So we'll see what happens, guys.
We all predicted something different, and that pretty much says it as it is. I predicted a draw. We got a win. We got a draw. Wait, we got a win and a draw, and we got a loss and a win. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We're not getting any.
I'm gonna write them down now and see who actually wins. Like,
yeah. And if Betfair are watching, we're open for sponsorship. So let us know. Yeah. But look, I want to sort of wrap this up because I know everyone's got things to do. I wanted to say thank you to everybody in the chats. Tashi, you got I think Rippy Duman Singh. There's some new faces in here. Siram. You got Why Not Sentiment as well. Amin, I have seen you today, bro. Thank you for your shouts out. Look, there's a lot of North London's original. I think Lev's right about squad selections there. Thank you. Rajat Gopal, why has Villa got to lose? I don't know what that means. Sadiq Rahman, look at the table. I don't know what that means. So look, guys, there's a lot of conflicting sort of opinions in there. Big up Greeny Man TV, big up Sunny, big up Trade, big up all you guys that have been here. Thank you so much. Keep supporting us. Hit those likes, smash those likes, put your notifications on. Some people are saying they don't get their notifications. I don't know why. What are you saying, Lee? What are you saying?
City have just scored.
City have just scored. And there you go. Lee chatting total bollocks as usual. City have just scored.
What do I know about football?
What does Lee knows
predictions whatsoever. Forget about it.
Lee knows fuck all.
Look at that as well. United top on Monday, Leicester top on Tuesday, City top on Wednesday. It's so up in the air this season.
Sounds like a shit Craig David song, doesn't it? Really, that one.
Depends on the weekends.
Yeah. Let's hope. But listen, guys, pleasure having you two on again. Brilliant. I mean, obviously, it was only 3 of us today. It felt like we had a man down, but he'll be back next week. Shaheen, I hope you're watching. Guys, it's been a pleasure having you on. Let's hope we kick on Saturday. We carry on this run. Who knows? 2 more back-to-back wins would be great. I don't know. But listen, this is Lavanja. Go on.
Saturday, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go there. I've got you down as we got you lose you Saturday. You can't be saying that. I
said if we were gonna lose, I'll see it on Saturday. I still want us to listen. I'll be watching your watch along on Saturday, Lee. Will your predictions? Aubameyang dropped again? Maybe no goals. No.
I want one about.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Again, pleasure. I'm Lavanja. This has been the Arsenal Lounge. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again Friday. I think we've got Fan Cam show. And then we're going to be looking to do some other special shows. So keep your notifications on, switch them on, and let's see you next week or Friday. So thank you again. I'm Lavanja, and this is it. Peace out.